Welcome to Second Listen Saturday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share some fun moments from a past episode for your weekend listening pleasure. Look for new episodes every Monday through Friday.
Today, we're focusing on something parents are talking about when they really should just not.
What's going on, Catherine?
Also barking. I don't know if you can hear that, but yeah. So earlier this week at my daughter's high school, there were two, like on Friday and Monday, somebody pulled the fire alarm at the same time, like at the same point in the day, both of those days.
Yep.
And so then it turned out to be someone other than the kid who pulled the fire alarm started posting on social media, like threatening or scaremongering things about this fire alarm. And so we were getting like regular emails from the principal that were saying like, here's what's going on. This is what we're doing. But meanwhile, parents get on Facebook and start talking about this. Everyone got the same email from the principal. And yet you have people like, well, I heard there's going to be a shooting. There was threatening that there would be a shooting. And everyone's like, where did it say that? It did not say that in the email. And well, did you not get the email? Like all this stuff, like just let them handle it. Like we don't, all of this like sidebar discussion is really... really not helpful. And I feel like parents should know better, right?
That would be a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's where I confess that I've totally done that. Perhaps I should recuse myself from this discussion.
Yeah.
I will hang my head in shame whilst you chat.
Well, did you feel like you weren't getting the straight story from the administration, so that's why you had to go... talk to other parents,
It's like Facebook makes it really easy to just go online and say, hey, did you hear about this? What's happening? Or look around online for discussions. And then you hear something from one person and then you share it with another. Sometimes it's in DMs. Sometimes it's in open Facebook discussion. But yeah, there's a piling on of I heard and this person heard, and it looks like I live right next to the high school. So there's been times, this has even been since my kids have been out of school, that I will look out the window and see something going on and post on Facebook. Hey, anybody know what's going on at the high school? And then I will provide my coverage from my window. Oh, there's some police cars.
You're live on the street.
Yes, exactly. Oh, looks like they're taking kids out of the building and walking them up onto the sidewalk. And so, yeah, I've been bad. Because really, if something's going on, probably it doesn't need to be discussed. And then, somebody will DM that they heard something, and then I'll share it with other people I've been talking about. It's very bad. I should not. I agree. It's wrong.
I agree. It's wrong.
And yet I will probably continue to do it because it's fun. It's fun if in the end it was nothing. If it was actually something, it would not be so fun. But... it's sort of irresistible. Has it always gone on? We just didn't see that it was going on? Have people always been calling each other?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, so it was probably just like over the phone or over the fence or whatever, but it just...
Oh, no. Right in the schoolyard next to your classroom window. You can see them gathering.
You hear anything? What'd you hear?
And then they're glancing over at you.
Yeah. So you have a perspective of this from inside the classroom, Nicole? Do you wish parents would cut that out?
Oh, my Lord. That honestly, for teachers, I having been on both sides of that classroom door as a parent and as a teacher, I understand the frenzy and the concern of the parents.
Yeah.
From a teacher's point of view, it drives us crazy because it's like, look, we gave you the information. That's what we know, right? The gossiping and it's just not going to help anything. Please.
But it makes us feel important.
I know. And then you,
gives us validation.
You get one parent who thinks that they're, the one that is the bearer of all the news, the one who's in charge, large and in charge, and he's usually she, is walking around having other parents run up to her and ask her what's going on. I don't know. I'm totally stereotyping, I'm sure, but because that's only happened to me. But yeah.
Well, it's just that's how misinformation spreads,
right? And it's like, we don't want this problem either as a staff. So trust, we're going to do everything we can. Plus, we want to keep your kids safe and we want them to keep learning. So,
right.
And then you just get people who blow things out of proportion too. You've got parents lining up to pull their kids out of school. And I mean, I see, and actually that, my daughter, she goes to a big high school, and unfortunately, in this day and age, there are threats that occur, and the school's really good about putting information out online right away and spreading information about it, but there are still kids who are pulled out of school for several days at a time, and and understandably, parents are concerned, totally concerned. But
and I think we talked about this once before, like, the school has to be on top of sending stuff out to parents right away, because the kids are sending it to their parents,
right?
From the classroom.
Totally.
So, it's a tough spot, for the school to be in, because these messages that we were getting were like, we're looking at, we're investigating, we're figuring this out, but everybody is safe, but they can't say everything they know at once, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. This is one of the many things that social media has just changed the landscape of, I think.
Right.
They used to be able to put it off for longer, but now kids can text their parents. Everybody's got a phone, and kids can text, and the rumors spread around so much faster.
They do. And
I do not envy administrators.
I'm a parent that will go on and check Twitter and then text my circle. I don't put it out in the big wide world, but I'll text my circle and say, hey, okay, what do you know?
Yeah.
Like, I do that. I mean, but yeah, it's the parents that are kind of blasting out there.
Yes.
And my daughter happened to be homesick on the Monday where all this was going down. And so then the next day she went to school like normal, and then, the next morning she was about to go to school, and I'm like, have you heard this? And she's like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. She wasn't concerned at all. And maybe that was because by that time it had been pretty much all clarified, but
maybe at least on the kid grapevine it was all over. The parent grapevine, maybe it was still going around. The kids were past it.
Will never end on the parent grapevine, right?
No,
that is true.
No. I have no problem with parents who are trying to find out information. It's just when they're spreading misinformation and trying to hype things up more than what they need to be. That's when I'm stepping away from this.
Yeah.
Well, I used to work in a very small school too, in a very, very small town. And no disrespect to them, but, parents are super involved. I mean, they all lived around the school. They all knew what was going on. It was a fishbowl.
Yeah.
So I think maybe I had an overdose of parent concern during those days.
Yeah. It's just, I hate it that it's true, but it's kind of exciting to feel that you know something, and it's also just kind of exciting to be following something, following a real story that's in your, involves places and people online. As I say, it's fun if it's nothing, turns out to be nothing serious. But so it's really hard not to want to do that as a distraction from whatever else you should be doing during the day.
Right.
Let me check Facebook 50 times to see if there's a new piece of gossip that I can spread.
Right.
Very, very bad.
Oh.
I blame myself.
Luckily this was, all turned out to be nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's not the last time.
No.
Stay tuned. For as long as there are schools, there will always be parents.
What we are saying now is don't stay tuned. You will know what you need to know when you need to do it. Close the computer. Go read a book.
Yeah. Exactly.
That'll happen. But keep listening to podcasts, because podcasts are important. We will distract you from what is going on.
Absolutely.